Hey guys, I'm Wade from Wade's Orchids, and we are going to do something with something other than an orchid this time. These are pitcher plants, and see if I can get this budgie down here. Oh my, look at that. This was given to me by a guy that's hiding next to me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wade's greenhouse.
This is wrapped all around here. You can tell we
didn't really prep for this at all.
No. I got it. Okay.
Don't cover me in bug
Now,
juice.
I forget, what's the proper name for this?
This is Nepanthes Miranda.
Okay. And go ahead and get everything up on the floor here.
Anyway, you got it.
There we go.
As you can see, this is a problem.
This has been up here, what, about 2 years?
2 years.
Okay. And it puts out, there's one of the pictures that still looks nice. Here. There we are. Yeah. Yeah, in here, that's clear. That's just water.
So this is what this thing has been doing in here for 2 years, putting out lots and lots of pictures. I gave this to Wade to help control some of the insect population, because these things in a normal home will get very big. As you can see, they get huge in a greenhouse, but they can get quite larger than this.
Yeah, also, it is flowered. I don't see any seed pods or anything. This particular one, it's a hybrid, and it's possible that it is not fertile.
No. Or it just didn't get cross-pollinated by the insects in here.
Yeah.
Hopefully what it was doing was eating the insects in here and not getting pollinated by them. So today it looks like Wade, me, and the cameraman are going to be not getting covered in bug juice, but cutting off all these dead pitchers and trimming the plant up and making cuttings from it so he can use them and give them to customers to help also control their bug populations, which hopefully you don't have them, but if you do, have fun.
Yeah, this is potted in sphagnum moss. I don't know if you can see here, but it's just pure sphagnum moss. These are bog plants, so they like being kept very moist, actually wet. They get no fertilizer. They get all their nutrients from the pitchers. They actually excrete a substance that helps to
Digest all the bugs down.
Yeah, and they digest it and absorb bug juice into their system, and that's how they get their nutrients.
So they basically make their own fertilizer. Their roots are basically just for drawing up a little bit of water. Other than that, it's just to anchor themselves. A lot of them are viners. I think most of them are vining, and this one is not as bad as the other one that will be in the video too. That's really gone crazy.
Yeah.
Both are hybrids. Easy to care for if you give them high light. Don't give them tap water or anything with mineral content. You want a low total dissolved solids in your water, which is pretty much, tap water will have chlorine, all kinds of things, fluoride. You have to have basically pure water, distilled preferably, but if you have low total dissolved solid like Wade does, which is 21 parts per million, you can give this to them. If it goes above, I think 35, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Like
Not to give anyone props, but Brad's greenhouse had a really good video on water for carnivorous plants. I think it's above 50. I think it's 55 parts per million. They will start to suffer and show signs of like burning from the nutrients because it eats the roots.
Now I want to show you a little bit about the structure of the plant here. George, if you can come in close here. What happens is as it's growing, it sends out a leaf, of course, like any other plant. But then at the end of the leaf, it sends the stem out, and on that stem grows the pitchers. This is an immature pitcher.
This is
that
a
hasn't
mature
opened.
pitcher.
Okay. Now, once they get to a certain size, they go from like a regular type plant to a vining plant, and then they put out different pitchers. They're known as lowers and uppers.
Here's a lower, and here's an upper. This is also old and it's worn out. This one's brand new, and all this thing is a modification
Here's
of
another
this
nice
leaf.
one.
So this is just a modified leaf. That's all this is. It has basically the digestive stomach, as you would. There's juice inside of it, like water, that breaks down the insects when they fall in. This, the peristome, is waxy to the touch and doesn't allow the insect to get grip when it tries to climb up here to get a drop of nectar. Because in here is sugar. All it is, it excretes sugar. Gives an insect something to eat, but it happens to walk up and fall down.
Yeah, if
And
you're
it can't
thinking
climb
about
out.
these, I thought that these would be like weird to the touch and that, but they aren't. They're very, very nice plants to deal with.
And Wade touches them quite a bit, so.
But they are very efficient at doing their job. In my greenhouse, I would have a lot of fungus gnats, mosquitoes,
Ants.
that sort of thing. If not for the two plants that I have here.
And they are very efficient. And also, they're great for disposing of insects that you find, like slugs.
Yeah.
We just walk over and feed the beast, and it all works out. Plant's happy, Wade's happy,
Yeah.
orchids are happy, everybody's happy.
Okay, so now we're going to go to potting bench. We're going to take some cuttings of this
And clean it all up.
Yep. Okay.
All right?
So we'll see you over there. Okay, guys. So here we are at the potting bench, and I'm going to start off just by doing some pruning here. Just cut these off. Okay, it trims up pretty easily. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take, since this is fairly compact, probably is going to be more than what is actually required. I think I'm going to just take a measured amount here of like several inches to make a cut. And then what you do is you just take this, cut off most of the leaf, and don't cut the tip, okay? So you can cut the leaf here, but leave that tip go because you want that to grow. And just keep going. Here, grab that, Chris. This one. Okay. And I'm going to actually pull off the bottom couple of leaves. Well, that isn't going to pull very easy, so I'm going to just trim around.
You usually want to make about 3 leaves, cut it a little bit below the next, or below
Okay.
the third leaf.
So I'm going to bring this up close to you here, and you can see what we have. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a blade next, and we're going to scrape this. Okay. Also, this is cut flat, so I'm going to take this and cut it at an angle like this. There we go. So we have, we want to expose as much of the tissue to the rooting hormone that we're going to put on as possible.
And
So-
what we're using, and without going crazy and then showing the company, but we're using an actual rooting powder. I mean, if you want to plug the name, that's fine, but any rooting powder will do. So we're just sticking it into the lid like this, and it's just, this rooting powder looks just like flour. And he's exposed a lot of the tissue down there. But what he was saying was you can even take your fingernail that's clean, scratch as much as you can, because that's where the roots are going to come out, at the node. Because that's where the pitchers and the little stems come out of. On any plant, you'll notice that. And just take the tip. It's already wet from the tissue being ripped open. Bang it off, and then you could stick it into sphagnum, put it in distilled water, and then hopefully within a couple of weeks you'll have these little black roots coming out of here. And then this will take off and continue.
Now, can you zoom down here, George? Okay, so I'm going to take another cutting here. It's hard to cut at an angle, but I'll try. Boy, it's tough. And again, just cut most of the leaf off. Go around.
And the reason why you're cutting the leaves is because as you cut it away from the plant, it has no way of drawing nutrients to itself, or it will become dehydrated. So the less leaf the less water vapor is evaporated through the leaf, so it has time to root itself to pull in the water it needs.
So, again, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves, and you can see which direction the plant is growing by the way the leaves come up off the stem. So we know that this is the end that has to go into sphagnum moss. And you can do this also with when it starts really turning into a vine. This thing was just getting ready to start going into its vining state. So these are pretty close together. There's another one, Chris.
All right.
And you can keep working down. Next cut down here a ways. Okay. Have it here. Boy, that's really, you can't really take it out of here very
It's very
easily.
tangled up. I mean, these things do become a mess, but they are worth it in the end.
This is one of the reasons that we are doing this also is because they will, these are large growing plants, and they will get out of hand very easily. Now here we have dead leaves, so we just either work it around, or else if you see that it isn't coming off on its own, you can just trim it. Get down here. I'm going to try to get rid of the dead material around here a bit.
Hey George, can you zoom in here? Do you see that there's a woody stem down here? Once you start cutting to this woody stem, it will not make good cuttings. You
Yeah.
have to take it from green tissue.
Yeah, we're
Once it's
right on the
woody,
verge here.
Like you're pretty much at the verge of not being able to take any more cuttings. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the whole plant, take a bunch of cuttings, clean all the dead stuff off. We may even throw out the original mother plant and just plant up the cuttings to get it started again. Now you don't have to. You could just prune it up and it will grow and redirect the growth and make it good looking again, but you do have to clean it up as it goes.
And what is the age of a plant like this?
I had this since it was a seedling, so I'm assuming I gave it to you for 2 years. This is probably about a 5-year-old plant, which is not, for a plant that's not that old. But these things can become monsters if you let them go. They will grow to the height of the greenhouse if you let them.
Yeah, and what happens is when it starts getting into the vining thing especially, it sends out, it uses the little stem between the leaf and the pitcher as a tendril to wrap around things.
Which are these? And you can see these are all curled over because they were trying to grab on to the wiring against Wade's
Yeah, here, let me
greenhouse.
cut this so you can bring it up close and show them.
Yeah. Basically, the thing does the same idea what your wisteria would do, or any of your honeysuckles.
Yeah. Virginia creeper is
Yes,
a rope.
they will wrap around your fence and just pull themselves up. Or if you look at your beans, if you grow vegetables, pole beans will do that a lot.
So, again, I was right at the woody part here. So I'm going to cut this right here at this angle here. And, what?
It is tough.
Yeah. I'm still into the woody part. I'm going to try one more cut here. See how I can do it.
All right, you got it.
Okay, it's still slightly woody. I think we're going to go with that though. I'm going to trim this off because that part's going to go into sphagnum.
And you don't want that to be in the sphagnum to rot and then rot the whole cutting.
Yeah, I think I'll trim this one off also. Okay, so that's what we're left with. And again, you can see the direction that the plant is growing, and just dip it in the rooting hormone.
And you don't need a lot of rooting hormone, just a little bit on the end. Just
Okay.
knock off the extra and then just stick it in sphagnum. The plant will do the rest.
Okay.
Also, keep it humid. Wrap it with put a plastic bag over top of the pot that you're using. You don't have to if you're using a vase with distilled water or clean water. They will root. You just have to change the water off and don't let it get septic.
Oh, also, I wanted people to know that the reason this has gotten so big is because it is in a greenhouse in almost perfect condition. In the home, even when you provide it with a fair amount of humidity, it just does not grow as quickly. So you can have a plant that is like 6-8 years old and still have it manageable. Also, this is a big growing plant. There are smaller pitcher plants. There's a lot of smaller pitcher plants that you can get that will stay more easily within the confines that you might like. So, we're going to go on to the next step here in a little bit, and we're going to show putting it into the sphagnum moss and getting
we'll
it
show
ready.
the cleaned up mother plant if
Okay.
she survives.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to wait.
See you then.
Hi guys, we're back at Wade's greenhouse, and yes, Wade is here, but I'm taking over for a few moments. So, in order to make these cuttings, we were showing you how to make the little cuttings for the Nepenthes. You cut, if you want to make a lot of them, you'll cut 3 leaves down, scrape the ends, and leave a little bit of leaf so they can do photosynthesis. Now, rooting hormone, you don't need it. You can use it, but you really don't need it. I used it just to speed up the process. Now, I'm also packing a nice pot filled with sphagnum. Nice, clean sphagnum moss. Wade, if you'd like to show them your delicious sphagnum moss. It's almost like spaghetti. He feels like an Italian chef.
There we are.
Al dente. The bottom of this pot, we stuffed a little bit of packing peanuts. That is also optional, but we believe in airflow, so it's good to have airflow around the pot. You can also use peat moss with perlite. You could just use a vase, a hurricane vase with distilled water. But Wade has a lot of sphagnum and a lot of thyme, so we're going to use peat moss. So we pack this real nice and tight, just give it a good push to make sure it's got a firm base. And all you're going to do is take your cutting, just work in a little hole in there, and just kind of nuzzle it in, and then keep adding more cuttings. You could, at the home, you would want to put cellophane or a bag over this to keep the humidity, but within the greenhouse, the humidity is so high, you don't need to. You will water these, mist them, with clean water, and mist them so they stay evenly moist, not sopping wet. And pretty soon, Wade will have a bunch of more carnivorous plants in here, growing them out of house and home, or for sale for all you. Here you go, Wade.
Okay. Want to give some props to the guy behind the camera. That's George. What is your site?
It's
your
LGW3 Orchids and Exotics.
There
the
we
man
go.
behind the camera. Check out his channel. He does
Okay.
great videos. He's got a lot of orchids. He's crazy IT tech guy.
Okay.
And you always know this old man. He's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put some more in here. Something I want to show you that can help you to get a hole in here is just take any pencil or pen and just dig it in there like that. Okay. When you pull it out, you should have a little bit of a hole there.
Should I be worried that you like stabbing things with pencils?
No, as long as I'm not pointing it at you.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, and then you can just stick the plant in there. So we're going to put them all in here. And after a while, these will put out, the roots are a little funny looking because all they're there for is not for transporting nutrients, but just to keep the plant stable and so it has a good hold. More?
The roots are also not very attractive looking. They're basically just black veiny threads, and they draw up moisture from the ground they're in. They often grow in places,
Okay.
especially South America, where it's
So-
like nutrient deficient.
Right there we got a pot that's ready to go, and we'll come back to this when we start getting roots and growth coming out of it and show you how things are going.
Now, we also have the mother plant that we finished cleaning up. If you look on
Right.
the floor, you can see multiple bags and buckets of cut up leaves and old pitchers, but the mother plant is here, all cleaned up and ready to be put back to do her job, start growing and killing insects.
Yep.
The roots themselves, just to give you an idea, if George can zoom in, I'll try to point them out. They're these little ugly black veiny things going through the sphagnum, and they, like I said, their purpose is to anchor it to the pot or to whoever it's holding on to, whatever surface it is, and just draw up water. And that's it. Other than that, the fertilizer that it digests the bugs it gets from those pitchers, and then it becomes this beautiful thing here. And now you have another plant that will grow on and be beautiful.
Yep. Okay. So, I guess that's about it for this, for propagating carnivorous plants by vegetative cutting.
Exactly.
What technical there.
Yeah, vegetative, huh?
Yeah.
I thought that's when you sleep.
No.
That's all like vegetable.
Yeah. Okay. So this is Wade from Wade's Orchids,
Chris from Growing Things,
and George.
LGW3 from Orchids and Exotics, and good cameraman.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time.